Hi guys! Today, we will be discussing about the Philippine literary canon and our national literature. So, do you have any idea what is literary canon? So, the first bullet form is canon refers to a rule and a list of books containing names of important books serve as a rule or guide for reading. So, you yung literary canon daw is ito yung mga collections ng mga important and influential books na kailangang i-considered bilang essential for understanding at o pang-maunawaan natin yung mga culture or our literature traditions in our country. So, the second bullet form is it automatically suggests a reading list which belongs to a country or a certain period in time. So, yung canon daw is nagsiserve siya as a guide that lists mga significant books na tinutulungan ng mga readers kung ano yung mga babasahin at upang malaman at maunawaan yung mga particular na culture or time period. Nagsasuggest din ito ng mga sets of books na mga important details of informations for a specific country or era. So, by this, it makes it easier at upang mas mapadali nito ang mga readers na ma-explore yung essentials ng ating literature. So, the third bullet form is, it contains mainly literary works by authors who are accepted as an authority in their field and their writing constitute a serious body of literature in any given language. So, dito, yung canon daw is, nag-i-include siya ng mga writings from authors na nagre-recognize as an expert. So, whose works are seen as valuable contributions to literature in their language. So, the fourth bullet form is the collection of works included in literary canon is largely approved by cultural and academic institutions and is regarded as literature of that language. So, dito, yung mga works daw ng canon are typically endorsed ng mga cultural and academic institutions. So, ina-endorse na siya ng mga cultural and academic institutions. So, meaning, they are widely accepted as significant literature. So, the last one is, if a book is included in a literary canon, it means it has attained a certain status of authority and is high aesthetic quality, which gives the reader or the viewer or reader the idea that the book is highly regarded in the literary world. So, the books of canon are regarded as having exceptional quality. So, nagkakaroon daw siya ng exceptional quality and importance. So, mahalaga talaga yung books ng canon, indicating they are highly respected in the literary work. So, they respect siya in the literary world. So, in the summary, the literary canon help or tinutulungan tayo upang to shape our understanding of the literature by highlighting key works or mas nagbibigay tayo ng importance sa literary works that reflects cultural values and artistic excellence. Now, we will proceed. What is a Filipino national artist in literature? A Filipino national artist in literature is a prestigious recognition given to a writer who has made significant contributions to Philippine literature. So, this title is awarded to individuals who have demonstrated excellence in their literary works and have greatly influenced to the literary landscape of the country. So, the first bullet form is the form and content of the writings created a sense of nationhood or instilled nationalism. So, the writings of the artist should have help in creating a sense of unity and pride among Filipinos about their nation. So, through their works, they may have celebrated Filipino culture, history, and values, contributing to a shared sense of identity among the people. So the second one is pioneered a unique style of creative expression in the literary arts that inspired younger generations of writers. So national artists are the pioneers who have introduced fresh and unique styles in their creative expression. So their works have served as an inspiration to younger writers and artists, shaping the future of literature in the country, or in our country, the Philippines. So the third one is displayed consistent excellence in the quality of the works. So here, the quality of the artist's works should be consistently high. So their works or their writing showcases mastery of the craft, demonstrating skills, creativity, and deep understanding of art of literature. And the last one, or the fourth one, is gained recognitions and awards from prestigious national or international literary institutions. So here so the national artists in literature have often been acknowledged for their contributions by prestigious national and international literary organizations. So their works is recognized for its significance and has an impact on our literary world. So who selects the Filipino national artists in literature? So these are the people who selects the national artists in the literature. So the first one is the panel of experts. The second one is commissioners of the National Commission on Culture and the Arts, or the NCCA. The third one is Board of Governors of the Cultural Centers of the Philippines, or the CCP. And the last one is the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Proceed to the canonical Philippine national artists in the literature. So the first one is Amado V. Hernandez, 1973, September 13, 1903 to May 24, 1970. So, Amado V. Hernandez is a poet, playwright, and novelist, is among the Filipino writers who practice committed art. So, Amado V. Hernandez, also prominent Filipino writer and national artist for literature, known for his socially conscious works. In his view, the function of the writer is to act as the conscience of society and to affirm the greatness of the human spirit in the face of inequity and oppression. So, Hernandez believed that artists should engage with social issues. He thought writers had a responsibility to reflect society's struggles and celebrate the human spirit, especially in those times. So, he also played a key role in making Tagalog writing more accessible instead of using complicated language. So, he wrote also in a simpler, everyday style that resonated with ordinary people. So, his famous work is the Mga Ibong Mandaragit. So, this novel is significant as it was the first socio-political novel in the Philippines. So, written while he was in prison. So, nakulong daw siya. It addresses serious social issues, particularly the struggles faced by farmers in the 1950s. So, other notable works of Hernandez wrote many important pieces, including Bayang Malaya, Isang Dipang Langit, Luha ng Buwaya, Tudla at Tudling, Katipunan ng mga Natalatang Tula 1921 to 1970, Langaw sa Isang Basong Gatas, at iba pang kwento ni Amado V. Hernandez, Magkabilang Mukha ng Isang Bagol, at iba pang akda ni Amado V. Hernandez. So his writing not only enrich Philippine literature but also serve as a voice for the marginalized and oppression.
So let's move on to the next artist, which is Jose Garcia Villa. So Jose Garcia Villa was born on August 5 in year 1908 and died on February 7, 1997. Jose Garcia Villa was renowned as a Philippine national artist in literature in year 1973. So Jose Garcia Villa was also considered as one of the finest contemporary poets. When Villa was on Singalog, Manila, he then introduces the reverse consonance rhyme scheme, including here is the comma poems. Have Come Am Here, the first poem of Villa, received a critical recognition when it appeared in New York in 1942. Soon enough, his poem received an honor and fellowship on Guggenheim Bullinger, the American Academy of Arts and Letters Award. So when Villa was writing his poem, he used the Veg Lion as his pen name, which means dove, eagle, lion. He used this as his pen name because he believes this is the very character that he attributed himself.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will discuss Nick Joaquin, a key figure in Philippine literature. But first, let's briefly mention Jose Garcia Villa, the comma poet known for his innovative style that brought modernist techniques to Filipino poetry. While Villa focuses on form and experimentation, Nick Joaquin, on the other hand, whose full name is Nicomedes or Nick Marquez Joaquin, is celebrated for exploring Filipino identity, culture, and history. This presentation will cover Joaquin's life, major works, unique style, and his impact on Philippine literature. Nick Joaquin was born on May 4, 1917 in Paco, Manila. Is regarded by many as the most distinguished Filipino writer in English, writing so thoroughly and so well about so many aspects of the Filipino experience. A novelist, historian, playwright, essayist, and journalist, his work has been central to the development of Philippine literature in English. In 1976, he was named National Artist for Literature, one of the highest honors for Filipino artists. Joaquin is known for his deep portrayal of Filipino culture, often examining the tension between colonial history and the quest for a unique national identity. His body of works continue to influence Filipino arts and culture even after his death on April 29, 2004. Joaquin has enriched the English language, with critics coining the term Joaquinistic to describe his Baroque Spanish-flavored English or his reinventions of English based on ex-Filipinism. His significance in Philippine literature, as noted by Bienvenido Lumbera, involved his exploration of the Philippine colonial past under Spanish and his probing into the psychology of social changes as seen by the young, as exemplified in stories such as Doña Jeronima, Candido's Apocalypse, and the Order of Melchizedek. Joaquin was born into a family with a rich cultural and intellectual heritage. Joaquin was exposed to a blend of Spanish, American, and Filipino influences that shaped his worldview and literary themes. Though he left formal education after high school, Joaquin was an avid self-learner, immersing himself in Western literature, philosophy, and history, which profoundly influenced his writing style. Joaquin wrote under the pseudonym Quijano de Manila for his journalistic pieces. Fellow national artist Francisco Arcelana noted that whether Joaquin was writing literature or journalism, it always of the highest skill and quality. Nick Joaquin's body of work is diverse and significant. He wrote plays, novel, poem, short stories, and essay, including reportage and journalism. Among his most notable works are the play A Portrait of the Artist as Filipino in 1950, which examines the tension between tradition and modernity. The other novel is The Woman Who Had Two Navels in 1961, which explores the themes of identity, colonialism, and the cultural disorientation. And the other one is The Cave and Shadows in 1983, a detective story that deals in political corruption, mysticism, and the pre-colonial history. His short story, on the other hand, like May Day Eve and The Summer Solstice, explore love, mysticism also, and the intertwining of faith and choice. Other notable works include Manila, My Manila, A History for the Young, The Ballad of the Five Battles, Rizal in Saga, and The Almanac for Manilians. Throughout his career, Joaquin received numerous awards and recognitions, the most prestigious being the National Artist for Literature in 1976. His legacy remains strong. His works are considered cornerstone of Philippine literature, continually inspiring new generations of writers, scholars, and artists. With this, we come to the end of the presentation. I hope this gives you a deeper understanding of Nick Joaquin's life and his invaluable contribution to Philippine literature.
Hello guys! So today we're gonna talk about the Philippine literary canon and our national literature. And the artist that I'm gonna talk about is Carlos P. Romulo. He is a national artist for literature awarded in 1982. Carlos P. Romulo was born on January 14, 1899. His career spanned his impressive 50 years across various roles as an educator, soldier, journalist, and diplomat. He was not only a prominent figure in the Philippines but also an international stage. Romulo has the distinction of being the first Asian president of the United Nations General Assembly. His career in diplomacy also saw him serve as the Philippine ambassador to Washington, D.C., and later as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Aside from his diplomatic career, Romulo was a prolific writer. His literary journey began early. He was a reporter at just 16, and by 32, he was already a newspaper editor and a publisher. His talent in journalism was recognized when he became the only Asian to win prestigious Pulitzer Award in journalism for a series of articles that provides insight into the outbreak of World War II. Carlos P. Romulo authored 18 books during his lifetime, covering a wide range of genres. His notable works include The United. It is a novel. I Walk with Heroes, an autobiography. I Saw the Fall of the Philippines, Mother America. I See the Philippines Rise. These works are a mix of personal memoirs and the reflection on his experience during the significant historical events. Romulo also penned memoirs detailing his years of affiliation with the United Nations. Among these is 40 years, a third world soldier as the UN, and the Philippines president. It is an oral history of his time serving under the Philippine president up until his passing. Carlos P. Romulo motivated his career and his vast contribution to both literature and public service have left a lasting impact on the Philippines and the world. His legacy as a writer, diplomat, and educator continues to inspire future generations. And that's all today. Thank you.
So now, let's move on to the next national artist. Francisco Arcelana was born on September 6, 1916, died on August 1, 2002 at the age of 85. He was renowned as a national artist in the year 1990. Francisco Arcelana is a writer, poet, essayist, critic, journalist, and a teacher. He is one of the most important progenitors of the modern Filipino short story in English. He pioneered the development of the short story as a lyrical prose poetic form. For Arcelana, the pride of fiction is that is able to render the truth, that is able to present reality. Arcelana kept alive the experimental tradition in fiction and had been the most daring in exploring new literary forms to express sensibility of the Filipino people. He was a brilliant craftsman. His works are now an indispensable part of tertiary level syllabi all over the country. Many of his works were translated into Tagalog, Malaysian, Russian, Italian, and German. Arcelana won the second place in 1951 Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature with his short story The Flowers of May. 14 of his short stories were also included in Jose Garcia Villa's honor roll from 1928 to 1939. Some of Arcelana's achievements include the first award in art criticism from the Art Association of the Philippines in 1954, the Patnubay ng Sining at Kalinangan Award from the City Government of Manila in 1981, and the Gawad Pambansang Alagad ni Balagtas for English Fiction from the Union ng mga Manunulat sa Filipino in 1988. Francisco Franz Arcelana was a pioneering Filipino writer who played a significant role in modernizing the Filipino short story in English, transforming it into a lyrical and poetic form. Throughout his career, he received numerous awards and recognition, including being named as a National Artist for Literature in 1990. His works have been translated into multiple languages and continue to be studied in the Philippines. Arcelana's legacy lives through his contribution to literature, with his impact felt both locally and internationally. Some of Arcelana's published books are Selected Stories 1962, Poetry and Politics, The State of Original Writing in English in the Philippines Today 1977, The Francisco Arcelana Sampler 1990. Some of his short stories are Frankie, The Man Who Would Be Poe, Death in a Factory, Lina, A Clown Remember, Divided by Two, The Mats, and his poems being The Other Woman, To Touch You, and The Flowers of May.
Rolando Espino, born on March 5, 1973, died in July 7, 1987. Rolando Espino, playwright, thespian, poet, teacher, critic, and translator, marked his career with prolific artistic productions. Pino's chief distinction is a stage director, whose original insights into the scripts he handled brought forth productions notable for their visual impact and intellectual currency. After staging productions for the Ateneo Experimental Theater, he took on Teatro Filipino. It was to Teatro Filipino which he left a considerable amount of work reviving traditional Filipino drama by restaging old theater forms like zarzuela and opening a treasure house of contemporary Western drama. So here are the list of Rolando's works. The first is his collections of poetry. Sit-sit sa kuliglig, Dunong-dunungan, Kristal na Universo, and A Trick of Mirrors. Another works of Rolando's are film scripts, Now and Forever, Gamitin Mo Ako, Bayad Kuri and Milagros, Zarzuelas, Ang Mestiza, and Ako, Ang Kiri, Ana Maria, The Komedya, Orosman and Zafira, and Larawan, the musical. So, that's all.
So now, let's move on to the next artist. Nestor Vicente Madali Gonzalez, often known as simply as NVM Gonzalez, was born on September 8, 1950 and died on November 28, 1999, at the age of 84. NVM Gonzalez was internationally famed Filipino teacher, writer of novels, short stories, and essays. NVM Gonzalez was proclaimed as Philippine National Artist for Literature in 1997. During his long distinguished career, NVM Gonzalez received many awards, such as Philippine Centennial Award for Literature in 1998, City of Manila Diwa ng Lahi Award for his service and contribution to Philippine National Literature in 1996, the Asian Catholic Publishers Award in 1993, the Filipino Community of California Proclamation honoring NVM Gonzalez for 78 years of achievement in 1993. Major works of NPM Gonzalez for novels and poetry, we have Winds of April in 1941 and The Bamboo Dancers in 1988. Short fiction, we have The Bread of Salt and Other Stories in 1993. Mindoro and Beyond, 21 short stories in 1989. Luke Stranger on This Island Now in 1963. Children in the Ash-Covered Loam and the Other Stories in 1992. 7 Years Away in 1947. And lastly, for the essay, we have A Nobel of Justice, selected essays in 1968 to 1994. Work on the Mountain in 1996. And that's all for Nestor Vicente Madali Gonzalez.
Hi everyone! So today I will discuss to you about Levi Salerio. So who is Levi Salerio? Levi Salerio is a prolific lyricist and composer for decades. He is born in Tondo. So Salerio received his scholarship at the Academy of Music in Manila that made it possible for him to join the Manila Symphony Orchestra. He made it to the Guinness Book of World Record as the only person able to make music using just a leaf. So a great number of his songs have been written for the local movies, which earned for him to the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Film Academy of the Philippines. So some of Salerio composed songs are Ako Ay May Singsing, Ang Pitpit, Dungawin Mo Hirang, Pitong Gatang, Waray-Waray, Ang Ugoy ng Duyan o Maliwanag ng Buwan o Ilocos. 4,000 songs in an idiom that has proven to appeal to all social classes. Levi Salerio won many awards, including the 1997 National Artist for Music and Literature Award, Awit Award for the Best Christmas Song Recording 2004 Pasko na Naman, and Awit Award for Best Traditional Recording 1997 Saan Ka Man Naroroon.
Hello everyone, so now let's move on to Edith El Tiempo. So let's read first the first and second bullet. So, Edith El Tiempo, she is a poet, a fictionist, a teacher, and literary critic. She is one of the finest Filipino writers in English whose works are characterized by a remarkable fusion of style and substance, of craftsmanship and insight. So what do you mean by this? So Edith El Tiempo was a really great Filipino writer who wrote in English. What made her writing special was that it combined two really important things, which is how she used words, which is the style, and what she was trying to say, which is the substance. She was a master of language, like a very skilled craftsman, and her writing always had something deep and meaningful to say. Therefore, her writing wasn't just pretty words, it was beautiful and thought-provoking at the same time. She was able to use language in a way that made you think about things in a new way. Who was born on April 22, 1919 in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya, Philippines. She was also died on August 21, 2011. Additionally, she studied at the University of the Philippines, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in English. Later pursued graduate studies at Stanford University, earning a master's degree in English. So next, as fictionist, Tiempo is morally profound. Her language has been marked as descriptive but unburdened by scrupulous detailing, which means Edith El Tiempo was a really good writer of fiction, and her stories were about more than just the plot. When we say morally profound, her stories explored really important questions about right and wrong, about what it means to be a good person, and about the choices we make in life. Descriptive but unburdened by scrupulous detailing means Her writing was very descriptive, so you could really picture the characters and the settings. But she didn't get bogged down into many details. She only included the details that were really important to the story and to understanding the characters. In general, so even though her writing was beautiful and full of details, it wasn't just about creating a pretty picture. It was about exploring deeper ideas and making you think about the world around you. So, sorry. For example, in her novel The Native Coast, she describes the beautiful scenery of the Philippines, but she also uses those descriptions to show how the characters are connected to their land and how their choices affect their lives. So she is an influential tradition in Philippine literature in English. So, meaning here is Edith El Tiempo had a big impact on Filipino literature written in English. Ano ba yan? She wasn't just a writer, she was kind of a guiding force for her other Filipino writers. Her work set a high standard for writing in English, and it inspired many other writers to follow in her footsteps. She's considered one of the most writers in Filipino literature in English. Her work is still studied and admired today, and many writers look to her as a model for how to write well. For example, the Silliman National Writers Workshop that she started with her husband has helped to train many of the best Filipino writers today. Her work is still a big influence on how they write and what they write about. So, together with her late husband, Edilberto K. Timbo, she founded and directed the Silliman National Writers Workshop, Dumaguete City, which has produced some of the country's best writers. So, as what I've said earlier, the Silliman National Writers Workshop was founded and directed by Edith L. Timbo and her late husband, Edilberto K. Timbo. So, Edith L. Timbo was later named Director Emeritus of the workshop and in 2009. So, Timbo's published works include the novel A Blade of Fern 1978, The Native Coast 1979, and The Alien Corn 1992. The poetry collections, The Tracks of Babylon and Other Poems 1966, and The Charmer's Box and Other Poems 1993, and the short story collection Abide Joshua and Other Stories 1964. So now let me just allow you to give you at least a short statement about her novels, poetry, and poem in order for you to have a short understanding or idea. So let's first is A Blade of Fern 1978. This book tells a story about families and traditions in a Filipino village. It shows how people deal with changes in their lives. Okay, so next is The Native Coast 1979. This book is about people living in a village by the sea in the Philippines. It talks about who they are, where they belong, and how the past has changed them. The next one is The Alien Corn 1992. This book is about a young woman goes back to her village after living somewhere else. It talks about how cultures change, who we are, and what makes life meaningful. So, now let's proceed to poetry collections. The Tracks of Babylon and Other Poems, 1966. This book has many poems about love, loss, believing in something, and finding meaning in life. It's known for its beautiful words and powerful images. Okay, the next one is The Charmer's Box and Other Poems, 1993. This book also talks about love, loss, and being a human, but it goes deeper into thinking about life in the world. So that would be all for Edith El Tiempo.
F. Suniel Jose, whose full name is Francisco Suniel Jose, was born on December 3, 1924 in Rosales, Pangasinan, Philippines. He was a prominent Filipino writer known for his significant contribution to literature, particularly in the English language. F. Suniel Jose's writing since the late 60s, when taken collectively, can be best described as epic. Its sheer volume puts him on the forefront of Philippine writing in English. but ultimately it is the consistent espousal by the aspirations of the Filipino for national sovereignty and social justice that guarantees the value of his obra. His works often explore themes of social inequality and class struggles within Filipino society. Jose grew up in a family of Ilocano descent and spent his childhood in a rural setting that greatly influenced his writing. His mother played a crucial role in nurturing his love for literature by providing him with books despite their financial hardships. He began writing at an early age and continued to develop his literary skills throughout his education. He attended the University of Santo Tomas after World War II but dropped out to pursue a career in writing and journalism. His early experiences during the war and subsequent societal changes shaped his worldview and literary voice. Writing career. Epson Yuse is also a publisher, lecturer on cultural issues, and the founder of the Philippine chapter of the international organization. And Jose's literary career took off as he became involved in various publications and founded the Philippine branch of PEN International. He is best known for the Rosales Saga, a 5 national series that chronicles the lives of several generations of Filipinos against the backdrop of historical events from Spanish colonization to contemporary issues. First, he captures the sweep of Philippine history while simultaneously narrating the lives of generations of the Samsons whose personal lives intertwine with the social struggles of the nation. Because of their international appeal, his works, including his many short stories, have been published and translated into various languages. These novels reflect Jose's deep understanding of Filipino culture and history while addressing themes such as colonialism, social justice, and identity. Awards and recognition. Throughout his career, Epson Yuse received numerous accolades for his contributions to literature. Some notable awards include he was bestowed the CCP Centennial Honors for the Arts in 1999, the Outstanding Fulbrighters Award for Literature in 1988, the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Journalism, Literature, and Creative Communication Arts in 1980, the title of National Artist for Literature in 2001 by the Philippine government. Jose's works have been translated into 28 languages, making him one of the most widely read Filipino authors internationally. He was often considered a leading candidate for the Nobel Prize in Literature due to his impactful storytelling and exploration of social issues. Then, his notable works include The Pretenders, 3, My Brothers, My Executioner, 1973, Mass, 1974, Poon, 1984. Jose passed away on January 6, 2022 at Makati Medical Center while scheduled for an angioplasty procedure. His death marked the end of an era for Philippine literature as he left behind a rich legacy that continues to inspire writers and readers alike. The impact of Epson Yuse's work extends beyond literature. He was also an advocate for social change through education and cultural awareness.
Let's move to the next national artist, Virgilio S. Almario, also known as Rio Alma. He is a prominent Filipino poet, literary critic, translator, editor, and cultural manager. He was born in March 9, 1944. He is a prominent figure in the Philippine literary scene and a leading advocate for the use of Filipino as the national language. So, in 34 years, he published 12 books of poetry, such as Makinasyon at Ilang Tula, 1967, Mga Retrato at Recuerdo, 1972, Doktrinang Anak Pawis, 2000, Sa Kandungan ng Lupa, 1944. So, in these works, his poetic voice soared from the lyrical to epic, from the dramatic to incantatory. So, in his often severe examination of self and society. So, also, one of his famous works is Sundalong Patpat or Tin Soldier. So, my partner will dig in more information to know and to learn.
Many Filipino writers have come under his wing in the literary workshop. He founded the Galyan sa Arte at Tula Gat and the Linangan sa Imahen Retorika at Anyo Lira. He has also long been involved with children literature through the Aklat, Adarna series published by his Children Communication Center. He has been a constant presence as well in National Writing Workshop and galvanized member writers as Chairman Emeritus of the Union ng mga Manunulat sa Pilipinas, UMPIL. Also, he headed the National Commission for Culture and the Arts as Executive Director from 1998 to 2001, steering the Commission towards its goals. By more than anything else, what Almario accomplished was that he put a face to the Filipino writer in country, one strong face, determinedly wielding a pen into untruths, hypocrisy, injustice, among others.
Hello everyone! Before I start, let me introduce myself first. I'm Charlie Salatan from grade 12 Tanzania. Guys, do you know who's Alejandro Rosas? If no, then let me introduce you Alejandro Rosas. So, Alejandro Rosas is a short writer and essayist, and he's known for his widely anthologized and It Is My Brother Peculiar Chicken. In his innumerable newspaper columns, he has always focused on the neglected aspect of the Filipino cultural heritage. And he is considered as the country's best writer of comic short stories. Alejandro Rosas also brought to public attention the aesthetic of country's fiestas, and he was instrumental in popularizing several local fiestas, notably Marianas and Anti-Atihan. So let's continue to the next report.
He personally led the campaign to change the country's Independence Day from July 4 to June 12. His unflinching love of country led him to become a guerrilla during the Second World War, to defy martial law, and to found a major opposition party under the dictatorship. His works have been published in various international magazines and received numerous national and international awards, including several decorations from various governments. And in 1959, Alejandro Rosas came out with his first short story collection, earning him reputation as perhaps the country's best writer of humor stories. And recovering the stole original manuscripts of Noli Me Tangere, El Filibusterismo, and Mi Ultimo Adios. And he's the one who also changed the language used in our Philippine passports, coins, bills, and diplomas to wikang pambansa. And now, we will go to the achievements and works of Alejandro Rosas. Actually, he have two achievements in literature. First, He received the Tanging Parangal of the Gawad CCP para sa sining in year 1990. And second is he proclaimed National Artist for Literature in year 2003. And next, the works of Alejandro Roses. Actually, he have had three major works. First is The Cocks and Kites, year 1959. Second is Fiesta in year 1980. And the third is Something to Crow About in year 2005.
Hello everyone, today we're going to explore the life and legacy of one of the Philippines' most revered literary figures, Benebendido Lumbera. A national artist for literature, Lumbera's work has left an incredible mark on Philippine culture, shaping the way we understand and appreciate our own identity through the power of words. So, Benebendido Lumbera is a poet, librettist, and scholar. Benebendido Lumbera was a multi-faced figure in the Philippine literature. He made a significant contribution not just as a poet, but also a librettist and a scholar. His works span different genres and mediums, making him a key figure in the development of Filipino literature culture. As a poet, he introduced the Tagalog literature, what is now known as bagay poetry, a landmark static tendency that helped to change the vernacular poetry tradition. Lumbera was instrumental in revolutionizing the Tagalog poetry through his introduction of bagay poetry. This style focused on the everyday experience of Filipino, using direct words to convey deep emotion and ideas. It marked an important shift in the traditional poetic form, making poetry more accessible and relevant to the common Filipino. As a librettist of tales of the Manubu and Rama Hari, he pioneered the creative fusion of fine arts and popular imagination. Benebendido Lumbera broke a new ground Filipino musical theater with his librettos of tales of the Manubo and Rama Hari. He skillfully combined traditional Filipino stories and contemporary artistic elements, making this performance both culturally which is widely appealing.
Literature work of Benito Lumbera. Likhang Diwa Poetry Collection 1994. Tagalog Poetry 1570 to 1898. Tradition and Influence of its Development 1986. Geology of Roches 1965. Cabell, June 4, 2010. Servan, 2006. Award of Bienvenido Lumbera. National Artist, April 2006. For Ramon Magsaysay Award, Journalism, Literature, and Creative Communication Art. Visiting Professorship, Osaka University of Foreign. Professor Emeritus, University of the Philippines. Pambansang Gawad, Pambansang Alagad ng Balagtas, Union ng Manunulat ng Pilipinas, 1993. National Books Award from the Manila Critics Circle. Carlos Valencia Memorial Award for Literature. Philippines Intermental Literary Prize for Drama, Cultural Center of the Philippines. Incidental Honor for the Arts. First Asian Scholar Resident at the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Lazaro Francisco E. Angeles, also known as Lazaro A. Francisco. He is a Filipino novelist, essayist, and playwright. He was born at February 22, 1898 in Oran. He died at June 17, 1980 in Manila. Francisco was posthumously named a National Artist of the Philippines. He is a prize-winning winner who developed the social realist tradition in Philippines authors' commitment to nationalism. Teodoro Valencia observed his pen signifies the Filipinos and accents all the positives about the Filipino way of life. Amadis Maria Guerrero wrote Francisco championed the cause of the common man, specifically the oppressed peasants. His novels expose the devil of the tenancy system, the exploitation of farmers by unscrupulous landlords, and foreign domination.
Literary historian and critic Bienvenido Lumbrera also wrote, "When the history of the Filipino novel is written, Francisco is likely to occupy an eminent place in it." Already in Tagalog literature, he ranks among the finest novelists since the beginning of the 20th century. In addition to a deft hand at characterization, Francisco has a supple prose to style responsive to the subtlest nuances of ideas and the sternest stuff of passions. Francisco gained prominence as a writer not only for his social conscience but also for his masterful handling of the Tagalog language and supple prose style. With his literary output in Tagalog, he contributed to the enrichment of the Filipino language and literature, for which he is a staunch advocate. He put up an arm to his advocacy of Tagalog as a national language by establishing the Kapatiran ng mga alagad ng wikang Filipino, or Kawika, in 1958. His reputation as the master of the Tagalog novel is backed up by the numerous awards he received for his mysterious novels in particular and for his contribution to Philippine literature and culture in general. His masterpiece novels are Ama, Bayang, Nagpatiwakal, Maganda Pa ang Daigdig, and Daluyong, affirm his eminent place in Philippine literature. In 1997, he was honored by the University of the Philippines with a special convocation, where he was cited as the foremost Filipino novelist of his generation and champion of the Filipino writers' struggle for national identity.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Julius Adame Amabuyok, and my report is about Cirilo F. Bautista. Cirilo F. Bautista is a poet, fictionist, and essayist. Cirilo F. Bautista ay isang manunulat sa ating bansa na nagsusulat ng mga kwento, tula, at essays. So with over 40 years on his career, Cirilo F. Bautista is known for his deep work and still influence writers through his talks, readings, and workshops. Ay si Cirilo Bautista ay isang influencer na manunulat gamit ang kanyang salita ay pananalita at pagbabasa ay itong tinuturo niya sa mga tao. He runs workshop across the country to help people develop their creative talent. In his campus talks, he updates students on the latest writing techniques and trends. Pinapatayo niya yung workshop sa iba't ibang bansa upang matulungan ang mga tao na maunlad sa pinakabagong mga diskarte at uso sa pagsulat.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Irish Peter Rosa, and we're gonna talk a little about Cirilo F. Bautista. Cirilo F. Bautista was an influential Filipino writer who made significant contribution to literature, major works, and the impact he had on Philippine literature. Cirilo F. Bautista was born on July 9, 1941 and died on May 6, 2018 at age of 76. He is acknowledged by peers and critics and the nation at large as the most and foremost writer in his generation. Summer Sands, 1963. This poetry collection is one of Bautista's earliest works, showcasing his mastery of language and exploration of themes like love, nature, and existentialism. Words and Battlefields, 1998. A collection of essays. This work delves into Philippine literary criticism, discussing the role of literature in society and intersection of writing and history. The Trilogy of Saint Lazarus in 2001, an epic trilogy that includes the Archipelago, the Telex Moon, and Sunlight and Broken Stones. It explores the history of the identity and Philippine people, blending in history and personal reflection. Galaw ng Asagi, 2003, novel that tackles contemporary Filipino life, highlighting social issues and the complexible of human nature through vivid storytelling.
So now let's move on to the next artist, which is Ramon Muzones. So Ramon Muzones was born on March 20, 1913 and died on August 17, 1992. Ramon Muzones was not only a writer, but he is also a lawyer. He is also a posthumous recipient of the National Artist of the Philippines for Literature Award in 2018, meaning in 2018, 26 years after his death, he was honored with the National Artist of the Philippines Award for Literature. Ramon Muzones was from Iloilo City, a major urban center in the Visayas region of the Philippines. Ramon Muzones was also the eldest of the 10 children of Santiago Muzones and Florentina Larupay, which is his parents. And Ramon Muzones received his law degree from Central Philippine University in 1952. So he completed his law degree at CPU in 1952. Next, my partner will give you more information about Ramon Muzones.
Ramon also write and popularized Hiligaynon literature. Ramon also was a founder on an organization of Hiligaynon writers called Sumakwelan. Ramon also writes 62 novels in course of his life. In Tipod Nga Bulawan in 1938, his first novel. His awarded included the Gawad Bonifacio Panitikan Seneschal awarded given by NCCA or National Commission for Culture and Arts in 1997. And Ramon also was honored as an Ilonggo National Arts of the Philippines for Literature.
Brazil B. Mojares was born on September 4, 1943. He is a Filipino historian and critic of Philippine literature, best known as for his books on Philippine history. His books include such The Man Who Would Be President, House of Memory, and Waiting for Mariang Makiling. Mojares was born to parents who were public school teachers on September 4, 1943. In Polanco, Zamboanga del Norte. Mojares is married to Salvacion Owanogo and has 4 children. He was recognized in 2018 as a National Artist of the Philippines for Literature, a conferment which represents the Philippine state highest recognition for artists.
Additionally, Brazil Mojares also received various notable awards. So aside for the Order of the National Artist for Philippine Literature, he was also honored with the Grand Goodman Prize in Philippine History, Hong Kong's Foking Tung Southeast Asia Prize, and the Gawad Tanglaw ng Lahi, acknowledged by the Cultural Center of the Philippines. So on September 23, 1972, the day that Marcos executed the Philippines under the martial law, Brazil Mojares was the first political prisoner that was arrested. Fast forward in 2019, Mojares was also recognized as one of the top 100 Cebuanos personalities recognized by the Freeman, the Cebu's longest-running newspaper. So aside from the works mentioned in the presentation, Brazil Mojares was also famous for his writing piece in The War Against the American, Resistance and Collaboration in Cebu Province, Abuetes, Family Infirm in the Philippines, House of Memory, Essays, and Vicente Soto, the Maverick Senator.
Hello everyone, my name is Chloe Kitin S. Ramirez and I'm from Tog, Tanzania. Today, I will discuss about one of the Filipino national artists of the Philippines. Then this is Gemino Hanson Abad. This is the some details of Gemino Hanson Abad. Gemino Hanson Abad is born on February 5, 1939. He is not only a national artist but also an educator and literary critic from Cebu, Philippines.
Gemino Hanson Abad, a distinguished figure in the literary world, has been elevated to the rank of University Professor, the University of the Philippines, Diliman. This is the highest academic rank awarded by the university, recognizing exemplary contribution to the academia and literature. Gemino Hanson Abad, known for his significant work in poetry and literary criticism, is currently a member of the Board of Advisor of the UP Institute of Creative Writing. Additionally, he continues to impart his knowledge and passion for literature by teaching creative writing as an emeritus university professor at the College of the Arts and Letters, UP Diliman.
In 2009, he became the first Filipino to receive the coveted Premio Ferronia in Rome, Italy, under the Foreign Author category. In 2022, the Philippine government conferred on him the National Artist for Literature distinction. It is the highest recognition for artists who have made significant contribution to the development of the Philippine art.